Hey fellow backyard warriors, Nick here. I just got this box in the mail from Dave at Mead Longbows. Now Dave has been making some really neat horse bows out of bamboo glued onto a riser with sias. It's a very interesting way that he's gone about doing this. Now the concept is fairly similar to a lot of the fiberglass horse bows you see coming out of China. But instead of fiberglass, Dave has opted to use all natural materials. His limbs are made out of bamboo slats that he's tillered out, and his handles and sias are wrapped on. So today I'm going to be unboxing this for you and kind of give you my overall impressions of the bow. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to let you guys know is that he actually sent me a bow before, but USPS managed to destroy the box and destroy the bow. And so this time he sent me another with a new box that he's testing out, and this one's made out of plywood. Very tough. You can check out his channel. He's got some really cool videos showing how he makes these bows, as well as how he made this box and him throwing a 45-pound, I believe it was a 45-pound weight on it. So pretty impressive. All right. Let's put the box on the side. All right, here's the bow. So as you can see, it's in a little bit of a rough state, but it's a U-finish bow. All of the sanding and finish work is up to you if you do purchase one of these. Now this is his target model, which means that it's somewhere in the realm of 30 to 40 pounds, no more than 40. And it's intended for backyard shooting or target shooting. So here's the bow unwrapped. Now it also came with 2 bamboo arrows. These arrows are made of Tonkin cane. They're very small diameter shafts. I'd say probably a little more than a 1/4 inch at the end, and definitely smaller than a 1/4 inch at the knock end. And he's got these composite nocks that are built up, glued, and then wrapped and glued. So a very strong nock that'll fit a standard string. All in all, these are really nice arrows, steel field points. And I believe he said they were about 500 grains a piece. So this is a nice heavyweight arrow. And I think this would go really well with his hunting weight or his hunting model of bow. Alright, so a couple of things I wanted to mention right out of the box that I really like design-wise of this bow. Now, first off, I like the fact that everything's lined up. You can see that everything lines up through the sias, and then on the belly side, everything lines up. Now, Dave mentioned that he shoots out all of his bows, so that's really nice knowing that you got something that's functional right out of the box. Now, what I think is really impressive of his design are his sias. Now, you can see from the side, they look like your run-of-the-mill horsebow sias, what you see on a lot of U-finish kits. You know, they're fairly tall, but look at how thin these are. These are knife thin. You know, I'd say maybe 3/16, if not a little thinner in places. Very thin, very lightweight sias. You can see there's not much transition here. Now, on top of how thin they are, he's also got these lightning holes that serve to reduce weight in the sia even more. And here on the end you can see is very minimal as far as what extends past the nock. This is all going to contribute to faster arrow speed and less hand shock. So really nice design features right here. Another thing that I noticed is that, like I mentioned before, the limbs are actually tillered. Unlike the fiberglass bar bows you're seeing out of China, the limbs are actually tillered. You can see that there's more limb near the center, less limb near the tip. And that's going to also contribute to less hand shock. It's going to have a better feel. It's going to be a faster bow. I really like the overall shape. This bow has got about a 5-inch reflex to it, which is really nice. It's a good amount of reflex. And you can tell that the limbs have already taken pretty much most of the set that they're going to take. About half an inch of set on each limb, but still, with the setback in the handle and the seas, that's not going to affect it. If anything, it'll make for a smoother bow. So like I mentioned before, Dave offers this as a U-finish bow, meaning that it's still got all the tool marks, all the saw marks, all of the sanding marks from when he roughed out this bow. It's a fully functional bow, and you could just seal it up and shoot with it and it would be fine. It would have a very primitive look to it, but there's also a lot of room here for you to clean it up, make it look really nice. Now you are limited to what you can do with the handle, but what I'm thinking about doing is doing a full handle wrap in leather and then doing a secondary grip wrap. That way I can cover this entire riser area and then have my primary grip. Alright, so let's string this bow up and see how it shoots. Now I'm not going to do a lot of shooting with this bow because it's still unfinished and I don't want the bamboo to absorb too much moisture. Alright, so some of my impressions of this bow strung is that it's got a nice brace profile to it. You can already see where the flex is happening in a lot of the limb. It's sort of in this early mid-limb area right off the riser. You can see he's already designated the top limb, and this definitely looks like it should be the top limb. It's got a little bit of a positive tiller to it, which is perfect because you're going to be shooting asymmetrically off this handle. You're not gripping right in the middle, or you're not shooting right off the middle. You're gripping somewhere right around here. And he's actually got an index mark here so you know where your arrow goes. So that's nice. Overall, it looks really nice. Alignment's pretty good. So the brace height is fairly low. I'm not sure if you'd want to increase the brace height. You'd want to treat a bow like this like a self bow because this is all natural material. Now, bamboo is really tough. It can take a lot of abuse, but still you want to treat this like a self bow. You want to unstring it when you're not using it, and anything you can do to help reduce set or string follow in a bow like this, anything you can do to reduce the strain it's under is great. And a low brace height will help save the limbs. The bow will last a lot longer. Well, when I say last longer, I don't mean it's going to suddenly stop functioning, but with most self bows, they have a threshold of how you can treat them before their performance starts to drop. You treat them well, they'll last pretty much indefinitely. So this is no exception. So the bow comes with a string. It's already got a knocking point installed. So all you have to do is just finish up the bow and shoot it. So here it is. Let's see how it shoots. Now before I shoot it, like a self bow, I'm going to exercise it just a little bit. Get the limbs adjusted to the idea of bending. Now if this is your first time using a primitive bow or a self bow, I would suggest that you put an arrow on the string while you do this, just in case your fingers slip and you release the arrow. You don't want to do it without an arrow on the string, because dry firing a bow like this could be really bad. But it feels good. So let's see. That feels pretty good. It's nice, smooth, and I'm actually surprised with such a low brace height. doesn't have any wrist shock, which is really nice. It's a really smooth bow, and you can tell that there's not a lot of excess energy coming out of the tips. Very light tips. Man, this is a really nice bow. Okay, let's go for the second. Very smooth. Very, very smooth. I can't emphasize how smooth this is. And shooting it, I mean, nothing. No hand shock. That's really nice. It's a very light bow. And typically with bows like this, you expect at least some hand shock, at least a little bit of a whump. But with this one, nothing. And it might be the heavy arrows. So I'll switch to some lighter arrows real quick. So here I've got some 370 grain carbon arrows. A lot lighter, probably closer to the weight of this bow. So we're going to see how these shoot. Nice. So again, this is his target model, and Dave was telling me that this bow gets about mid 160s to low 170 feet per second with a matched arrow. So that's pretty fast for a lighter weight bow like this. I'm really impressed. It's definitely smooth, and it's got some punch to it. So I'm really impressed with this. I'm going to unstring it and finish it up before I do any heavy shooting and any speed testing with it. But I just wanted to say, Dave, thank you so much for this bow. It's beautiful. It seems like a great performer. I'm really excited to finish it out and put it through its paces. And for anyone who's interested, Dave sells these. Everything that I had here is what comes with it. It comes with 2 bamboo arrows, the bow, and a string. The bow is fully assembled. As you can see, the riser is glued and wrapped on. So are the seals. So at the bare minimum, all this bow needs is a coat of sealer just to finish it up. But if you go ahead and check his Facebook page, he's got some really neat pictures of some bows that he's done where the back is painted. It's got nice dye on it. Very beautiful. So while I haven't tested this bow out yet, and I will be finishing it and giving my full review later, I will say that it's a very solid looking bow. Performance wise, he's done everything right. It's just a beautiful bow. It's got a lot of potential in the finish. So if you're interested in Asiatic style archery and want a non-fiberglass bow, this is a great option. The price he has it at is really reasonable. It's probably one of the most economical bows you can get in this style. So I'm really excited about it. And Dave has been trying to break speed and distance records with his bows. I've been talking with him, and he's got some bows that are consistently doing around 200 feet per second, which is really impressive. Now, these are higher weight bows than what he offers, but the same basic design are in these bows. And as he irons out his design and finishes them out more, I'm sure his prices will increase. So this is a really good opportunity, I feel, to get one of these bows. So here it is. Dave, thank you so much for sending me this bow. I'm really excited to try it out. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.